Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video, gonna do a review of the Auchentoshan 12-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. So I recently went through a little bout of COVID. Fortunately, it only lasted more or less about a week, and the symptoms I had weren't much worse than, say, a cold or very strong flu. But while I had it, I started thinking about people I've known who've lost their sense of taste and smell, and some for a very long period of time, such as Scott over at the Scotch Test Dummies. And I started thinking, what if I lost my sense of taste and smell, either permanently or for a very long period of time? How much in that state would I be longing for the day in which I could smell and taste a 40% alcohol by volume whiskey with cold chill filtering and a little E150? I would be longing for those days if I lost my sense of taste and smell. Which then got me thinking, you know, I've been doing whiskey reviews since 2016. I probably average, I don't know, reviewing maybe 50 bottles a year. I've traveled around Kentucky, Texas, Scotland. You know, I've tasted a lot of whiskeys. I tasted some really good whiskeys. And does that experience, and in studying whiskey and analyzing whiskey, could it make it difficult to enjoy something, perhaps something that's a little simpler, something that isn't, you know, just a huge impact of cask, or a huge impact of a peat, you know, just sort of an in-your-face, you know, cask strength, you know, no holds barred kind of whiskey? Has that experience caused me to take it for granted, and the ability to enjoy something that's a little bit simple, that isn't, you know, a $200, $300 bottle of whiskey? Can I enjoy something that's, you know what, it's made for the mass market? Well, I'm going to answer that question after I tell you a little bit about the history and a little introduction to Auchentoshan Distillery and about this whiskey. Auchentoshan is a lowland distillery located at the base of the Kilpatrick Hills, 11 miles west of downtown Glasgow, about a 30-minute drive. The name Auchentoshan is derived from a Gaelic word which means corner of the field. Auchentoshan Distillery was established in 1823 in the Dumbarton estate of Auchentoshan by Thorne, an engineer from Greenock. In 1984, the distillery was sold to Stanley P. Morrison for £325,000. And in 2014, it was acquired by Morrison Bowmore, which is owned by Beam Suntory. The Auchentoshan 12-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. It's triple distilled, aged 12 years in ex-bourbon barrels and ex-sherry casks. It's bottled at 40% alcohol by volume. I paid $55 for a 750 milliliter bottle, and on average, it goes for around $61. So as usual, I've got the whiskey down below the label, which is about where I'm ready to review it. I'd say it has an even expression of the bourbon cask and the sherry cask, sort of 50-50. It has, I would say, sort of the classic Auchentoshan orange citrus notes, but from the sherry, it also brings in some slight chocolate notes, red fruit notes, a little bit of spice, baking spices, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of an earthiness, a nice maltiness, some honey, some oranges with like cloves put into them, and loads and loads of vanilla on the palate. So as I've been tasting this whiskey and thinking about it, my thoughts have been, I like the profile. I like that it's got the citrus. I like that it's got a little bit of a chocolate note there. It has some sweetness up front, some bitterness on the back end, and as well as some nice spice notes. It's got a little bit of honey, a little bit of black pepper. There's a nice sort of chocolate note going on there, and some vanilla. But everything is low to medium intensity in comparison to what I'm accustomed to drinking. My baseline for what I typically like to drink is at least 46% alcohol by volume, but if I can get for more than 50, up over 50, I prefer that, so that it has a little bit more punch of flavor. Having said that, I begin to think about my own prejudices, if you want to call it that, and my own experiences, and that if I was tasting this back in 2016, when I first started, rather than 2023, what would my impression be of this whiskey? And I gotta say, it would be a greater impact. This whiskey would have a bigger impression on me than it does now. I think I would really like this. I like the development. I like that it has sweetness and a little touch, just a touch of bitterness. It's got some earthiness going on there. It's got the orange citrus, the chocolate. It has a little bit of a red fruit note, dried red fruit note on the back end. A little bit of, perhaps a little bit of raisins and a little bit of fig. But the intensity is medium, and the transition isn't huge, and the finish is, I would say, somewhat moderate. I'm going to give it a solid 86 points. A solid 86 points. This is a better whiskey than the Daft Mill 2009 Summer Batch that I previously reviewed. In fact, I'd even maybe take this up to 87 points. I give that one 85, and that was $200 a bottle. But in thinking more philosophically, this experience of going through COVID and hoping that I would still have my taste buds and my sense of smell, and thankfully within a week, pretty much back to normal, it made me stop and say, you know what, I am thankful that for my sense of smell and taste, and that I can actually enjoy a whiskey like this, as well as all these other ones I have back here. So I am thankful for this whiskey. And like I say, if you're just starting out, this is a really nice dram. If you're looking for something that's ready to just pop and pour and ready to go, this is good to go. Where I'm at now in 2023, yeah, I'd like to get up to 46 and just a little bit more of a punch of what it does have. Everything it has, I like, but I just wish it was more intensified. That being said, I am thankful for this dram and that I can enjoy it. I do enjoy this. It just isn't going to be the favorite in my collection. I'm glad I can go back to some of these other bigger ones that I have here. But at the same time, I'm also thankful that I can enjoy this whiskey. All right, that's it for this review. If you subscribe to this channel, I want to thank you very much. If you've not yet subscribed, but you like watching my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I go live or post a new video. And until next time, cheers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.